Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1:01 p.m. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a late start today here in Chicago, but it's time for another live stream. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021, and it is a hot one here today. So hot, so humid. I know other places it gets hotter. I know other places it gets more humid, but for me, this is pretty miserable. So we're just trying to deal with it today. Hopefully, for all those listening in on the podcast on the audio version, you guys are doing better than I did today in the midday heat. I didn't run in the midday heat, but I had to run some errands in the midday heat, and it was uncomfortable. It was not nice. It was gross outside. Hopefully it's better for you on your run or during your commute. Hopefully you got smooth sailing, no traffic on the highway, and you're getting home fast. All right. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're at a point in the day where you can sit back with a nice recovery beverage. I've got my afternoon coffee, a fresh brewed cup, and I'm so excited for it. I mean, it's cool in here, but hot coffee on a hot day is generally something that I enjoy. That's something that makes sense to me quite a bit. You know what that doesn't make sense to me though is like cold noodles. Like in Korean food, there's a dish called naengmyeon. You eat it cold, and they're like it's so refreshing to eat on the summer. And like growing up, I was like, no, I don't like the cold noodles. It's weird, but I digress. Let's see who is here in the chat today. By the way, no trivia today. You know, I just wasn't feeling it today. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why, but I just didn't want to do trivia today. So it was like weighing on me all morning, and I was like, let's just not do trivia today. But let's see who's here in the chat. Thomas Villa says, hello, everyone. Anyone's getting excited for UTMB? I'm excited. I've been seeing Seth's crazy journey going from like winning a pretty prestigious race to hopping on an airplane and going to France. So like, that's pretty impressive. It's got to be there's so many logistics involved in that. Crazy. Frank says it's hard to imagine anyone other than Han or Walmsley winning. You know, I got to get into the coverage a little bit more. I'm very excited for it, and I can't wait. But I'm like, I just need like a mental minute. I don't know what I need a mental minute from though, but I don't know. There's just been a lot of stuff happening, so like I haven't gotten a chance to get really excited about it. And Frank says Jim's been quiet on Strava in the lead up again. No telling what that means. Yeah, I mean that's kind of weird. Like I thought it was weird that he did that leading up to Western States as well, because like leading into like the marathon trials, I know that's not like an A race for him. Everything was pretty much out there, wasn't it? But then like all this other stuff, he like locked down until like at the last minute. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he does. I did see, I think it was Running Warehouse posted something today in their Instagram story listing a whole bunch of different athletes and what shoes they were wearing. And it's according to that, Walmsley going to be running in the Speed Goat 4, which is interesting because I think in Western States he ran in the Evo Speed Goat. So I hope someone asks him about why the change in shoes. I mean, I can assume a couple of things why, but I'd love to be able to hear from him, his thought process on that. All right, Thomas says, I feel Jim goes dark on Strava for mental preparedness, and I'm pulling for Jim 100%. Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for him. You know, being a little ethnocentric here, I'm rooting for the American for sure. Also, we're like best buds now since I interviewed him, so so definitely rooting for Jim. I don't know if it'll be bucket hat weather out there, but I think it'll be interesting to see like what surprises he has for us. I feel like there will be a surprise. All right. Kyle Patton says, howdy partners, afternoon coffee today. Nice. Yeah, I can relate to that. Today's 10 weeks since meniscus surgery and I'm feeling pretty good. That is fantastic news, Kyle. I am so glad to hear that. Oh, always very good to hear a good recovery story. And Kyle says, Atreyo posted an update to the V2 and excited to see the other colors. I owe Mike an email. He emailed me about the version 2. I haven't responded to him even. So that's not cool on my part. But hopefully we'll be able to get that in. I'm going to move this mic real quick. Hopefully we'll be able to get that in and get that tested. I'm excited to see what they're doing for V2. And I also feel like it's kind of like a V2 for Atreyo as well as a whole. You know, they're changing their kind of sales model, which I think is probably a good idea. And, you know, changes to the original base model. So hopefully this is a change in, like, a focus in direction that's going to work for them. All right. Let's see. JC says hello. Hope all are well. What's going on, JC? Good to see you again. I like that. This little signature thing you got here. It's JC, but a running dude. A running person. I like it. Lucas H says, hello, my running friends. Martha's here as well. Good to see you, Martha. And Kyle says, also got to call it the Vomero for looking like a $40 kid shoes you buy from the rack room. I mean, there's been so much interesting feedback from the Vomero 16. And I really feel like the designers for the Vomero were probably like, we're just going to do something safe. It'll fly under the radar, like it won't offend anybody. But there's so many very strong opinions about that shoe. On the website, they say that it's modeled after the Vomero 5. I've never seen the Vomero 5 before. I know, like, Nike re-released Protros of the Vomero 4 last year, 2 years ago. So like, because it was a very of the times, like, 90s shoe. And it had that, like, it looked like a 90s shoe. And now they're saying that this Vomero 16 is supposed to be modeled after the Vomero 5. I haven't seen the images. I haven't looked up images of the Vomero 5, but it's interesting. But you know what? Hold on, let me go get it. All right. Speaking of the kids' shoe. So I bought these shoes for my kids because they wanted slip-on shoes. They wanted Nike shoes, and I was able to get matching ones. So both of my kids have them. These are a year old, so they're pretty beat up. But this is the kids' shoe. So I feel like if you think about it, this like side saddle thing here, or like the saddle or wrap here, I think definitely kind of reminds me, and I did think about the Vomero when I saw this. So, I mean, I think this one is like one of the most popular kids shoes that Nike sells, because I've seen it on all sorts of kids. Like, we bought this online, but I've seen it everywhere from Chicago to Iowa, urban to rural. It's on kids' feet. So this is everywhere. And so, like, I think it's interesting that, like, some design cues seem to be coming. Maybe it's just coincidence from the kids' shoe to the Vomero 16. Maybe that also pays homage to the Vomero 5. Who knows? Luis Becerra's here, says, yo, what's going on? Good to see you, Luis. And David Prabhu says, good afternoon, Kofan. Hi, David. All right. Lucas H said he did his first run, 14 miles in the Puma Deviate Nitro. That's a nice intro run. A nice, slow, easy run. But he didn't like the heel. There's not enough padding. I felt firmer than expected. Need to try to run with some faster paces, I think. I think that'll help. The Deviate Nitro had a bunch of bumper pads in the back. A lot of bumper pads. And I felt like it definitely needed it. But yeah, I can understand if you're saying you didn't like the heel and not enough padding. Just because, like, the way that is designed, I just feel like, and if you compare it back to the Vomero 16, that thing, the Vomero 16 curls over to get around, like, the heel bone. The Deviate Nitro just, like, goes straight up, and almost straight up. And so, yeah, I could see it needing a little bit. But in terms of the firmness, I mean, it's a nitro foam, and a lot of those nitro foams do like to have a little bit more speed or forces put into them before they really start to mellow out. So yeah, I would recommend it, like, another long run if you've got a long run, some marathon paces, maybe some half marathon or threshold paces. I think it'll perk up a little bit, or even like just a tempo run, like a little bit fast, like a moderate pace. It'll perk up, I think. All right. Thomas Billa says, yo. Ray says, hello. I think we should call ourselves Cohen the Gang. Get down on it. Yeah, I hear you. Jeff Elliott says, hello. What's going on, Jeff? And Martha says, quads are sore from our Sunday long run. Just partially cured that by getting on the treadmill. There you go. A little recovery run. I feel like I've been seeing a little bit of backlash in social media lately, probably because a lot of people are in the meat, like the center part of their marathon training plans right now for the fall, whether you're training for London's coming up soon. Which one's in September? Tokyo? London? Some of them are in September. Chicago and Boston are the same weekend. Then we've got New York in November. And what's the sixth one? Berlin's also in October, right? So a lot of people are in the meat of their marathon training plans, and I think a lot of people are complaining about this idea of recovery runs. They're like, if it's a rest day, take a rest day. But I'm like, no. I think that there's some sense to it. There's some sense to it. And I think that all those people that are against recovery runs are still getting easy runs after their workouts or their long run. They're just not calling it that. So I don't know if like people don't like what it's called. Maybe it's a semantics thing. I'm not sure. Jeff Elliott has a running question. Says, bargain question, Triumph 18 or 1080 version 10? Both are right at about $100, and my existing 1080s have been relegated to walking or maybe mowing the lawn at 400 miles. 400 miles is great. I would say for me, I would probably pick the 1080. I like the 1080. But the thing is, you just put 400 miles in a pair of 1080s. If you want to mix it up a little bit, go with the Triumph. The Triumph, I think the 19 has a little bit more of it than the 18 did, but there have that like little hint of stability. There's like a little bit of like that medial side. It feels a little bit firmer and my knees feel it. So like if that's something that is a concern to you, then I would probably keep with the 1080. But either of those shoes are great, and especially at $100. You can get those at $100. Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. All right, Bryce Blankenfield's back. Says, finally making it to another live stream. Good to see you. Good to see you. Martha says, watch Seth's Pikes Peak video while on the mill now, and it's very nicely done. He's really proud of it. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. A lot of things are on my list to watch, but I definitely want to watch his last two videos. He seems really proud of. He's been pushing them out on Twitter, so I feel like, I mean, when you get the W, yeah, you I mean, of course, you want to make sure people know about it, but like, and he's a repeat champion too, not just the win. He got the repeat, so defending champion. So I'm definitely excited about that, and I think the Kipchoge movie, the latest one, is out on Netflix now, because over the weekend, Believe in the Run had like I think the only physical screening, like in-person screening of the movie in Baltimore over the weekend. And so that's on my list. I think now that they've done that, I think it should be on Netflix now. So that, and Seth's, I mean, like, yeah, that's good company to be in. You're like, I want to watch the movie about Kipchoge, and also I want to watch the movie about Seth. Well, his videos. I'm going to call them movies. You know what I was thinking about the other day? So guys, do you remember? Let's see. All right, I'm going to scroll down. I'm way behind on the chat for some of you guys. So what I was thinking, what I was thinking about today or last night, and I was going to tweet it, but I feel like, I don't know, Twitter might have been a bad place to put it. So the other day we were thinking, like, in running, there aren't collectibles like there are in other like spectator sports. And I think a big theme that we've been seeing, everyone's trying to like figure out, like, everyone's so excited about running in the lead up to the Olympics and in the Olympics. How do we capitalize on that going forward? How do we grow the sport of running, whether you like trail, track, road, whatever you like, like how do we like grow it? Both as a sport that's participatory and as a sport that has, like real pros and real coaches. Not that we don't have those, but like, so that those people get the amount of respect that they deserve. And so like, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that too. And I think one of the things is kind of collectibles. There aren't collectibles. Not that I'm like, I got so much money, I want to spend more money on running stuff. Cause I don't, but like, one of the things I was thinking about is like, if you are a fan of your favorite quarterback or baseball player, you can buy like a replica jersey or even like an authentic jersey, but like not the one that they wore. And I was thinking, like, all these athletes that go to these meets, they get a little piece of paper that says their name on it, right? Emily Infeld was trying to figure out, do people want her old ones? Like, should she auction them off and like do something with it? Like donate the proceeds or whatever. But like, I feel like, why don't they put their names on the back, just like a basketball jersey, right? Because then, like, if you're going to like a running event or an expo, what do you see people wear? You see the people wearing the race shirts that they raced in, or if they run Boston, they've got their Boston stuff. That's their flex, right? But to show other people that you are also like a running fan, so when you see someone, you can be like, give the, the head nod. Like, what if there was like, like a Kipchoge jersey? I would wear that, or like a Karsten Warholm jersey, because I'm never gonna buy any country's kit, not even the U.S. like Olympic kit. I'm not gonna buy that. I don't know why they sell it, frankly. But you know what I would get is like a replica singlet of, I don't know, Noah Lyles. I would get that, so I just think that's my thought. That's my thought on that. I feel like there should be jerseys, some sort of apparel, something that I could wear when running that doesn't make it look like I'm trying to make people think that I run for Kenya or the Bowerman Track Club. You know what I mean? Because I also feel like some of that stuff too, like they sell like the Bowerman Track Club stuff. Like I don't buy it because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to make you think that I run with them. But there needs to be other ways to show the fan appreciation in an apparel kind of manner. And I don't think companies are doing it right now. So I guess that's my rant for today. All right. Runner Will says, are the shoes they run in with not sort of a collectible? Yeah, I think so, for sure. And that's why, like, when people are sometimes like, I look at that shoe, but like, it's only supposed to last 150 miles and it's $250. I'm like, you're kind of missing a whole level of appreciation for the shoe. So I'm with you, Will, where I'm like, that's a way to like buy in. Right. And they do sell like the country kit or the warm-ups or whatever. But I think that like there's an angle that's missed here. There's not just like there's money to be made. There's certainly that. There's also a way to like, bring in the community and help us connect to each other a little bit better, I think. I don't know. Frank says, though, I think I could wear the whole Kenya national kit. No one would look at me and I think I was really on the team. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, and Martha says, though, but I always felt like it might even look obnoxious to wear a Boston Marathon shirt at a small 5K. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it though. And that's how people that's how like, I was listening on my run this morning to a Runner's Life podcast, and they had Steven Gnoza, who is a serious runner on YouTube. He's lives in Boulder. He seems to be friends with Sage Canaday. And, I feel like something a serious runner would do is wear their Boston Marathon stuff at a small 5K. But, and like, I feel like there could be a less aggressive way of saying like, I'm a running fan. I'm not trying to say I'm a real runner, air quotes, whatever that means, but I'm just saying like, I'm a fan of like, not just coming out on the weekends and running, but like of running in general. And I want to be welcoming and like, I don't know. I just feel like there's ways. New Veteran said Meb had his own signature shoe, right? He did. Did they call it? Yeah, the Go Meb. They still make it. It's made for very fast runners. Like I remember where was I at? I was at an expo somewhere and I was talking to the Skechers person that was there at the expo, and I asked him about the Go Meb 6. I'm like, Meb could run a marathon of these. He's like, yeah, like a normal human being could not. And they're like, no, we recommend it for like people to run 10Ks, So I feel like signature shoes are one thing, but so many brands are unwilling to do that. I mean, like the Kipchoge, you associate with the Alpha Fly and the Vaporfly, right? But they made an Eliud Kipchoge version, right? But not a shoe that was hit. You know what I mean? Mo Farah had a Mo Farah version of the Pegasus 35, 36. Basically, like the back heel part was cut out because he always cuts his Pegasus. So like, but they wouldn't give him like, there's no like Stan Smith got a shoe from Adidas years ago, right? We still call him the Stan Smith. Jordan has a shoe. Lots of people have shoes, but we're never going to see that in the running world, So I just think that's, yeah. But Shannon says, hey, co-fam, OMG, the serious runner is hilarious. Yeah, I do like, I feel like I really enjoy the serious runner, but I feel like it hits too close to home sometimes. It's uncomfortable when I'm laughing at it. And I'm like, I think he's talking about me. But I think that's the appeal, is everyone does these things and everyone talks about them. Tracy Smith says serious runner is hilarious. Oh, I didn't know you guys were all watching serious runner as well. I was watching him. What was he running? Was he running Bandera or was it Black Canyon? He was trying to do a 100K and he got pulled from the race. That was disappointing because I followed the whole series. That was good. Jason Dahl says, if I ever qualify for Boston, I will wear the Boston shirt at a kid's 100-yard dash. Yeah. Albert Long says, I am a very serious runner. Yeah, and I think that's something a serious runner would do. Jeff Elliott says, like, I would wear a Molly Seidel merch, right? Right? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I were Athletic Brewing right now, what they need to do quick is make a Molly Seidel baseball jersey. In Athletic Brewing's colors are great. Their color work is great. If you like that, it reminds me a lot of Cotopaxi, where I'm like, I would never imagine putting colors like that together. I don't know how to put colors like that together. I think in a lot of ways it's visually cacophonous, but it seems to work. But if I were Athletic Brewing, that's what I would put out right now. They'd sell 1 million, maybe not 1 million, but they sell a lot, So I don't know. And Jeff Elliott said for Serious Runner, he thinks it was, or for Steven, not Serious Runner, says, I think it was Black Canyons. I believe it was a hydration electrolyte issue. By the way, did you guys listen to that podcast? Because he's got some plans, and I'm going to spoil it for you. But I'll put a link to it in the podcast in the description once we're done here today. But he says he's running Boston and CIM this year. So hopefully I'll see him. He's planning to run a lot faster than I am, so like he'll probably be like 2 corrals ahead of me, but maybe we'll be able to meet up at some point in California. But he says that in for Boston, he's gonna try and run in character the whole time, so wearing his like Tracksmith stuff as the serious runner, and he's gonna try to make a GoPro video like the entire weekend, like a serious runner goes to a marathon expo. So I'm like, I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. It makes me wish that, like, 1, that I were going to Boston this year, and 2, that I could run as fast as him, because he like he's like a serious runner, or the serious runner wouldn't run with a GoPro, because that's not what serious runners do. So I was like, if I could run with the GoPro and hold it and film him, that would be a good collab. I think that would be a good collab. All right. Tracy Smith says about the serious runner, it does feel like he's calling us out. He's making fun of all of us, but that's what's good. He's making fun of himself too, because I feel like it's like stuff he sees his friends doing and stuff he sees himself doing, and he has to take a step back and be like, this is kind of silly, So like, I think that's where he gets a lot of his content. Lucas H says, Athletic Brewing mukbang. I think we could try that. I'll have to see if I can get some. I think Lindsay Hine has it as a promo code. A lot of people have promo codes. I gotta find a promo code. Stevie76 says Ben Parks was doing a gear check and selling gear whilst running a 122 half marathon. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is, like, he posted a picture on Instagram, a series of photos on Instagram today of him like holding the GoPro while running this half marathon. So I don't know who took those photos. I don't know who took those photos or how he got them, but they're great photos. And in all of them, he's like smiling, and he has that great smile, and he's smiling and he's talking to the camera. And in each of the photos, there's someone next to him, like just struggling just to keep up. And it's really funny. It's really funny. Yeah. All right. Remy says, I say to everyone, folks around here, and Remy's in the Boston area, folks around here get BAA gear on clearance and wear it when and wherever. It's all in how you perceive it. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that too. But it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how we all kind of like respond to these little kind of like social cues. All right. Lucas H says, he put in the super chat, he wants to put down for the Athletic Brewing mukbang. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to get that. I'll get it ordered. We'll see when we can get it in. So yeah. All right, let's do it. We'll do it. All right. Frank says, Ben Parks always looks like he's having fun, even when he's going to the hospital for a broken foot. Yeah, he does. He's got such a great disposition. All right. Dami says, "Yo, Kofuzi, how you feeling for your first triathlon? Also, the RC Elite 2 is amazing recovery shoe. LOL." Oh, okay. Well, I do have the RC Elite 2. It finally arrived, so I'll be running it soon. I probably won't run in it this week. I will have a short, like kind of like shakeout workout tomorrow, just a little fartlek. I think I'm probably gonna run them in the Boston 10s just to put some more miles in on that shoe. But I'm getting ready for the triathlon today. Not that long after we're done, we're going to be done here. I'll be going to an open water swim clinic. So like they've done a whole bunch of them all throughout this month. I think we were out of town. We were over in Iowa for a couple of them, and I was in Boston for the other one, but this is the last one of them. And so like I don't know. I could go swim in the lake any day. I run by it every day. But I've been swimming in the pool just to kind of, I don't know, remove as many difficulty variables as possible. But I'll be going to a swim clinic today. I got a wetsuit. I went with the sleeveless. I think Remy's going with the sleeveless, so I'm going to go with the sleeveless. So I went to like a website, and I forget. I think it was TYR. Do you say it TYR, or do you say the letters? I don't know how to say that word. Company. But I went to a swim out. I think it was called swim outlet place, and they had a long sleeve one that was like entry level, and a sleeveless one that was like higher end. Both ended up at the same price after like the sales and stuff. So I went with the nicer one, but it doesn't have sleeves. I hope I don't regret that, but we'll see. So I'm gonna squeeze myself into a wetsuit for the first time today. I'm feeling decent about it. I feel like I'll be able to survive the swim. I think my goal time is going to be, well, a goal, like if we're going to do A, B, and C, and I'll probably make a video about it more specifically later this week. The A goal is like 45 minutes for swimming 1,500 meters. Very, very slow. Very slow. But the B goal is just survive. Right? There is no C goal because I don't have, there's not a lot of options in there. So, yeah. All right. My mom's here. How's it going, Mom? How are you? Hope you're doing well. And Jason Dahl says those clinics are a blast. You'll have a good time. Cool. I hope so. I'm going to ride my bike to it. So this will be the first time I ride my bike in Chicago as well. So, yeah. Oh, Tony Macias. See, this is the information I need. TYR is pronounced tier. I had no idea. I thought it was just TYR. The swim cap I have is from tier. You could totally be punking me on this one too, and I wouldn't know. I'm going to call it tier from now on. All right. Melanie Flavin says the sleeveless is much more comfortable. Okay. All right. And Remy says sleeveless, you'll glide. I'm excited for you, man. Well, I'm excited for you too, Remy. Remy's is also this weekend. He's doing the Boston Marathon, Boston Triathlon. And Frank says the C goal is die in style. Yeah, I mean, I guess the C goal is to B goal is to don't die, right? Just make it to the finish in however way I can, however ugly it may be. The C goal would be to if I'm going to get plucked out of the water by a kayak, have it just be spectacular. Like maybe like I'm stuck to like a buoy and I'm like, I'm not going back in there. And they have to like pry me off with an oar from a kayak to be like, no, you got to get down. We're DQing you from the race. Like, so that's probably like the C goal. It's to like fail miserably. Not just fail, but fail miserably. So I guess that's like the C goal. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. All right. New Betcher said, did you see Cam Wirf's tri-specific alpha fly with the Velcro straps? I did. I've seen like a ton of photos of it. I like it. I like the idea quite a bit. Oh, you know what I didn't get? I don't know if I'm going to have time. I was going to get speed laces for my Carbon X2s because I think that's what I'm going to run in. Ooh, totally forgot about that one. I guess I'm going to just lace them up like a regular person. All right. Umberto Estrada says, best shoe to try triathlon for the first time? I really don't know. I'm going to be running in, I think a lot of the triathletes like the Alpha Fly. I've seen a lot of them in all the ASICS athletes are just killing it right now with the Metaspeed Sky. But I feel like that's an aggressive shoe. I think for what I anticipate my energy level is going to be at the end of a triathlon. So I don't know. Yeah, so I really don't know. There's the Noosa Tri from Asics as well. A lot of Hoka in the triathlon world, from what I gather. But I'm new to the space, so yeah. Jeff Elliott wants to know what's the distance of the Tri. I chose Olympic distance because I felt like I could do the bike and then the run. I felt like I could do those easily in the same day. So I'm like, then obviously the swim should be commensurate, right? And I was so wrong. So I'm like, I think I, well, yeah, I think I passed the deadline for when I could drop down to the sprint distance. I was listening to the Triathlon Terran podcast, and they were like, um, people should probably spend about a year doing sprint, and then a year doing Olympic, and then a year doing half marathon, and then a half Ironman, and then a year doing Ironman if they want to follow that path. And I was like, all right, I screwed things up from the beginning, but oh well. And here we go. Here's another one. MC1796. What's going on? Good to see you again. So, did you ever watch channels like Athlete Special or Adam Fogg with a bit of speed envy? I catch myself doing that sometimes. Yeah, I do. I mean, those are fast guys and they make videos, but like, they're a lot. Well, they're very gifted, and they've also worked very hard and cultivated that talent from a very young age for both of them. And so it's kind of like they're just so far away from me in terms of like not only aptitude but also skill. That's just I don't think of it as so much as envy as I do like admiration. I'm like, man, it's pretty impressive. That's great, But I also like about both of those channels is that they are also aware of kind of like, very aware in an aspirational way of like where they sit in like the hierarchy of all the other athletes that are out there, and they're all just trying to work really hard to get better, so it's pretty cool to watch those guys. Martha says, Kofuzi, were you able to try on the Metaspeed Edge? Any feedback compared to the Sky? I haven't tried it. I thought that maybe they would have some for me to try at A6. I didn't ask though. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a shoe that they're like they've made and they're testing it out and seeing if there's, I wonder if that's a shoe that they're testing out to see if there's really different spikes in terms of preference in other regions, rather than the US. Remy says, did you get a race belt for your bib number? If not, buy one ASAP. I have a couple of race belts. I had them from running Ragnar relays, because then like you don't want to have to pin when you're like passing off from one person to another. You have to have the belt. It's easier that way. Although these days they do other systems like the slap bracelet and stuff like that. But you need to have like a bib at some point. So yeah. Thomas Villa says, for the first triathlon you do, whatever shoe you have is the shoe that is the best one to try. I think that's a good approach. Martha says, Mike, you'll never be accused of not taking up new challenges, and agree with Remy that a belt for bibs is a great thing. I even use it for 5K, so I don't have to snag my shirts with safety pins. Yeah, I feel like we need to, it's 2021. We need to figure out something else than pinning bibs on. I mean, I suppose it works and it's pretty cheap probably. So yeah. I do like it, because then you can just slide it around, I don't know. It's good. It's good. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially in the triathlon though. But like, there's a lot of stuff that I have to like read and reread. I'm like, I think I have to wear a bib while I'm on the bike. I'm not sure. Is that when I do it? I'll just figure it out. I'll have to do some more reading and stuff. But that's kind of how I like to prepare and kind of relax and mellow out in the days before races, just to like go over the stuff that they say and, whatever has been sent out by the race organizers over and over. New Veteran says, I bet there's some speed laces on Next Day Prime. And Frank says, there go my transition time. Yeah, I think I'm going to have some ridiculously bad transition times. Because like, like me just walking around in the bicycle shoes, like I think I'd have a better time walking around in full length scuba flippers than when I'm walking around in like the bike shoes. And I know like people are like putting the shoes into the bike and then just walk on the bike and then put your feet in the bike shoes that are already clipped in. I'm not talented enough for that. That's not going to work for me. So like it's going to take me a while to get through some of those transitions. Transition 1 is going to be me like literally like that thing, like, you know, when like in movies when people are get like shipwrecked and then like, they find dry land and they're like kissing the earth, like that's gonna be me. um and then I've also seen in some videos there's like a station that you can go to where people will literally yank the wetsuit right off of you. I'll probably be in there for a while, you know, and then I'm just gonna be like catching my breath, um and letting my head settle down from the swim before I get over to the bike. So I'm just going to walk everywhere. I'm just going to take my time getting into the transition zones. I'll probably try to hustle, but you know, um, I don't know. You know what I realized though is that, you know, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I have vertigo, and changing my diet and also running, one of those two or maybe both together, made a lot of those symptoms go away. But there are times like when I'm really struggling in the water, um, I feel like the turning of the head so much really makes it. Um, I'm realizing that I'm feeling vertigo symptoms. I was thinking that I was like just getting lightheaded, but I think I'm getting a little lightheaded, but sometimes getting a little bit of vertigo, like motion sick in the pool. And so I've stopped by like 3-stroke breathing, like bilateral. I just breathe to the one side over and over again. That seems to help it out quite a bit. Um, but like, yeah, so I feel like by the time I get out of the water, I might have like a full on dizzy spell. So that's something I'm a little bit worried about. So the transition times will take a long time, but I'm just gonna let it be whatever it is. Yeah. New Petra says a BOA-equipped road shoe doesn't lend itself to putting on the fly. Dedicated tri shoes generally use Velcro straps that have a notch to keep the shoe wide open until they're tightened. Oh, that's nice. See, I was thinking that I would get Velcro shoes if they had them at the bike shop, but they didn't have any Velcro shoes at the bike shop. So, yeah, maybe for next time. And Sarah McKinney says, "Hey, Kofuzi, good luck with triathlon. Any advice on switch from flat road running circuits to up and hilly ones? Breathing obviously key, but what else?" I would say, breathing is certainly one. I would say be mindful of your cadence. Your cadence is going to change a little bit. I tend to like to make sure I'm shorter steps, especially on going uphill. And then make sure you're, recover on the downhills too, but, don't recover kind of like too much. Don't coast too much. So like you can kind of work on both sides of it. Because downhill running is also a skill that can be developed and learned. So I think that would be one of it. And the other thing is, just ignore your watch when you're doing them as well. Like, don't worry about what the paces are going up or going down. Just go by, like, if you want to be constant effort, be constant effort. If you want to be harder effort, maintain an effort level. And then whatever the pace is whatever the pace is going to be. Ted and Ruth say, if it's a long transition, maybe worth considering carrying your shoes. That's an idea. I like that. And Remy says, if you can, rack the bike at the far end of T1 to minimize the distance you have to go before you can clip onto the bike. Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to figure that out ahead of time. I'm just going to find a spot, I think I could bring my bike the day before, and so I'm going to try to do that. So maybe if by going the day before, that might give me an opportunity to better position myself in a more desirable position. It looks like Tommy Runs is here. What's going on, Tommy? Tommy loves his hills. What's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. Awesome. All right. And Thomas says, never worry about your transition to your first races. This will never make your race, but will always break it if you overthink it. Enjoy the race. That's why I think I'm just going to go out there. And for me, like, if I make it past the swim, so if I get my B goal, survive the swim, everything else is just like, I'm just going to cruise. I'm just going to take in the scenery. And, you can't exactly give high fives on a bike, but, pretty much whatever the closest to that is, just like say hi to people and just have fun. That's what I'm going to do. And Jason says that Chicago assigns specific rows. Now, people actually follow that? That's the question. Oh, okay. That's good to know. And Jason says he's to rack the day before. Highly recommend. That's what I would think. Because I actually think it's an early start already, and I'm just going to have so much nervous energy. If I just know the bike stuff is all set up, that takes a lot of me out of it, I guess. And Kyle wants to know, what's the camera setup going to be for the try? It seemed like a selfie stick would be a pain. Yeah, I'm not going to do selfie stick because I have a feeling that that's going to, like that. No, I mean, you're supposed to be far away from people on the bike. So in theory, it shouldn't be a problem for me to be whipping a selfie stick around. But I don't want to get DQ'd for like having something or being unsafe, So I'm thinking, I don't know. I think I'm gonna probably put something out on Twitter tomorrow or on Instagram, see if anyone's in town that wants to help film the swim part. My wife was gonna come. My daughters want to come down, but I'm like, I don't know what the situation's gonna be like. If you're even gonna see me or whatever. So like, I don't know if anyone's gonna be down in the area, but maybe put out a call for if you want to send me some clip. If you're gonna be watching it anyway, send me some. If you can catch me, send me some clips. I'll make sure to give credit in the ultimate video. So the swim probably won't have a lot of footage in it. I've been debating whether or not to take like the Insta360 Go, just the camera itself, the Go 2. And like, I think I could tuck it like under my swim cap when I'm not using it, and the suction would keep it there. Or maybe like slide it up the leg of my like wetsuit or something, like just tuck it somewhere so that I could have it to talk to like as I'm getting in the water. But once I'm swimming, I'm not skilled enough to swim 1,500 meters. That's a good place to end that sentence. But I'm definitely not skilled enough to swim 1,500 meters and film it at the same time. So like that's going to be a hard thing to do. I would love to have some footage of me like coming out of the water, after a near-death experience. So like that's something that I would like to have, like maybe the camera like in my swim cap or somewhere. And then I'll probably have a GoPro, like I did for today's video, like a GoPro on like a little stubby that fits in my bike jersey. So I'll put that like with my stuff in the bike, yeah. So I'll do that, and then I'll have that so that way I'll be able to run and be on the bike with it. So like the footage will be all arm's length, which is not ideal, but I think it'll be fun to do that. So that's kind of like my cycling strategy. I'm thinking, maybe I was trying to think, is there a way I may mount a GoPro to the bike as well, because I've got a couple of older GoPros that I could just like mount on and leave on the bike. So at least I get another angle or two. So that's what I'm kind of like, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking so far. Jeff Elliott says, I think on your thigh would be more comfortable than pressing against the head. Yeah, but I'll have a wetsuit on. So like, I don't know how I will get it up the leg of the wetsuit. The wetsuit goes all the way to my ankles. I think I haven't tried it on yet. I should try it on. So that's kind of like, I need to be able to put it away easily and also have it secure enough. So that's just YouTuber problems, I guess. Josh Molly says, good luck this weekend. Thank you. He says, I definitely want to try a triathlon probably next year. I did swim team for 8 years, so at least I'm experienced in biking, but I think I would really enjoy a triathlon. So he's least experienced in the biking. Yeah, I feel like people that are like have swim experience have a real big advantage, because I've probably spent as much time on swimming as I have on the other two disciplines, both physically and mentally. Like just watching YouTube videos, trying to learn, trying to figure things out. Just it's been a lot to try and catch up on. And I keep looking at what the 2018 results is what I've been looking at for the Chicago Triathlon, because 2019 the waters were so rough, it was run, bike, run. They switched it like the day of, and I was like, now I'm like, oh, windy day. But I think I'd be disappointed if I didn't get a chance to swim at this point. Yeah, I just I totally lost my train of thought because I was thinking about how awesome it would be if I didn't have to swim for this triathlon. But yeah, that's if it comes back to me, I'll let you guys know. But I think that anyone that has swim experience, Here's where I was going with that. So I looked at the 2018 results, and I'm looking at my age group for men, and like I think 45 minutes is, considering that I'll probably have to rest at some point in this 1500 meter swim, because the longest uninterrupted swim that I've had is 400 meters. So I think that at some point I'm gonna like have to stop somehow and like hang on to a kayak or something, or I don't even know. But looking at like anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, that puts me at like the lowest 1%, like last, if not second to last. So that's where I'll be in my age group. If I were like a regular swimmer, I'm thinking like 2 minutes per 100 is probably very doable, and that puts you at what, like 30 minutes. So that's a substantial difference, like twice as fast as how I'm planning on going. So yeah, that's what I think. All right, Sarah says, question, is the 4-foot air pocket really noticeable in the Vomero? I've never ran a Nike shoe with the AirPods. I'm thinking about this shoe for long runs. It's not very noticeable. It's to the point where I thought that maybe they had, for the Vomero, reverted back to the old style of Air Zoom pockets or Zoom Air pockets. Instead of the big bulbous ones with the 3 sections, there used to be a long flat one, and it wasn't that tall, like in the Peg 36. And I thought maybe it was that, and I had to kind of like dig around for a little bit to see some images. People seem to think that it's the new style that's in the Pegasus. So, but it's not super noticeable. It's not super like, it's not going to be like something that feels funny underfoot. So I recommend it for long runs. I think it's a good one. Kyle thinks, how about a wrist strap? I've been thinking about it because I bought a couple when I started swimming. I bought a whole bunch of things, thinking that I'd want to get a whole bunch of different kinds of like video footage of me swimming. But then I realized like I'm not good enough at swimming yet to really start incorporating those things. So I have 2 different kinds of GoPro mounts that I bought. One goes on the hand, so that way, like when like it's so that the camera would be like right here and looking back at me, or I could turn it so it looks out front. And the other one is a wrist strap. So I guess I could put it on my arm or an ankle or on my wrist, and does the same thing. You can position it. I'm worried though that it might be perceived as some sort of swimming aid, or it might DQ me for wearing that. So I'm gonna stay away from those for at least this first one. I'll get the lay of the land, kind of figure out what's going on here and what people are like kind of cool with and not cool with before I really like start pushing the boundaries on that a little bit. Jeff Elliott says, are you going to lube up to make it easier to get in and out of the wetsuit? I don't know. I wasn't planning on it. It seems really weird to do that. But I think today's experience at the swim clinic will be, I think, instructive if I need to do that. All right. Jason says, I actually purchased the pic they took of me exiting the water. The look of relief on my face that it was over with was worse than the overcharged price. See, that's the shot that I want. I totally agree with you on that one. Thomas says, can you use a leash on the camera? I suppose I could. But I think at that point, just sticking it somewhere in a sleeve, like in the leg or in the swim cap, I think would probably be better. Antonio Rodriguez wants to know, what's the A goal for the Chicago Marathon? That's a great question. It depends on my buddy. So I'm planning on running it with my buddy, but his knee has been acting up and his training got thrown off early this year, right at the beginning of the training block. And so like, he's not sure if he's going to run it anymore. I got to touch base with him, see how he's feeling. I was like, we're just going to go run it together and then have a couple of beers afterwards. So like, I was like, don't worry about like if you're going to hit a PR or not. If it's not going to be a PR year for you, let's just go out and have fun, And so, but he's like, I'm just not sure if I can even handle it. So, it'll depend on what he wants to do. So like his A goal is my A goal and his B goal is my B goal. So that's going to be it. So if he doesn't run, that may change things a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right. Remy says, you'll surprise yourself. No pressure, but drafting in the swim is amazing. You'll see at the open water swim clinic. All right. I'm taking your word for it, Remy, here. I got the sleeveless wetsuit. I'm following in your footsteps here, so we'll see. My buddy, wherever he goes, I go. Yeah. Oh man. Martha says, Mike, regarding Nike, I bawled out a guy who commented last week that you ignore Nike because of Mary Kane. Told him that's ancient history and he must not have checked the channel in a long time. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I feel like they've written me off a long time ago. And they're about that. So, I'm certainly not as enthusiastic about the brand as I was years ago. I feel like they're making some moves, but very slowly. And it seems to be reluctantly that they are. But, we're still talking about some Nike stuff. We spent a lot of time talking about Nike stuff today in a good way. So, yeah. I mean, I try not to, pay too much attention to that. I feel like people like that are like, they just want a response. They don't want a conversation, So I was like, well, thank you for watching today. I'll be like, thank you for watching today, this video about a Nike shoe, So that's kind of how I put it. Not all says best alternative to Glycerin 19 GTS. I would say probably the Hurricane. That's the stability version of the Triumph, right? Right? Yeah. From Saucony. What's the stability version of the Triumph? Is it the Hurricane? That's what I thought. Yeah, that's the one that I would go for. Oh, Flora says, when are we going to run Mount Baldy or some other trails here in SoCal? Dude, yeah, I was just thinking about today is I need to plan some trips, I think, while it's still possible. And so I've been thinking about what I would love to do is have a couple of weekends where I go visit some other climates. The main reason I was thinking about that is, people are starting to reach out about hey, do you want to check out fall and winter? And I'm like, this is the hottest day of the summer in Chicago. The hottest day of 2021 is today. And you're asking me about long sleeves, but I'm like, I get it. And I'm like, this year I would love to be able to have, some of that stuff a little bit more timely. Because usually I'm like, well, there's usually a cold weekend in Chicago where I could do something like that. So I don't want to necessarily be at the whim of unusual weather patterns in Chicago. So I'm thinking where can I go? I'm thinking, well, probably a mountain is going to be cold no matter what. So yeah, we'll have to circle back. We'll have to plan something, get something figured out. I think that'll fit in nicely. I mean, I'm training for Chicago, but I'm also after that then training for CIM. But I think that a weekend in the mountains is certainly going to work well for that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll definitely have to get together. It's good to see you, Forrest. All right. Tracy Smith said, you got my hopes up yesterday about the Zoomfly 4, but I can't find anything. Who's been posting a lot about that? Ben Johnson, not the track runner, but the Instagram guy. I don't want to just distill him down to Instagram guy, but the other Ben Johnson. He's got a lot of images of the Zoomfly 4. I don't know if maybe it's available in another country already, and so he's checking out Nike.com in Singapore or whatever, or Nike.com in the UK. But there's lots of images. Black is one of the launch colors, and I don't like it. I feel very bad to say that, but I don't know. Gus Constantine says, hey man, I may be coming late to the party, but regarding cameras, etc. Now with the bike, you have the opportunity for some cool mounts, etc., on the handlebar. Yeah, I've been looking. I bought one that's a handlebar mount. I think it's a handlebar GoPro mount, but I think a lot of lights and bike computers and stuff like that, are mounted by GoPro style mounts. But I'm definitely thinking about putting a GoPro on there. I also have an under seat mount, which I'm thinking I'll probably use. But the only problem with those mounts is that it's not something that you can drop in, get the shot, and then use the camera again. So you have to have a dedicated handlebar camera, a dedicated behind camera. I'm okay with that, but it's just I gotta do a little bit more thinking and a little bit more prep. But for some of the I don't know what the events were even called, but the velodrome style events that were in the Olympics, There was the one where like all the ones where there's like no gears on the bike. There's like one gear on the bike. I don't know what the events were, but they looked like they were invented by like just like lunatics that just wanted to like gamble and drink all night. But they were super fun to watch. And they had like an under seat mount on a lot of the Olympians' bikes. And just some of the footage was insane. So like, I'm not going that fast, and no one's going to be close enough to me, or isn't supposed to be close enough to me to make any of those shots super interesting. But you know, I'll have some. We'll see how it goes. All right. I think that that's a good place to end it for today, guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sorry there was no trivia today, but I felt like it was a good day to kind of like just relax from the trivia and just kind of hang out and visit with everybody that's here. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out today and indulging me. Tomorrow's video, I mean, I don't know. So tomorrow I'm going to kind of do like a dry run of what I will do for the swim and the triathlon. I'm going to try and bring the camera to do some filming of this open water swim today. So hopefully that's what tomorrow's video will be about. We'll see how much video content if there's no video tomorrow, it's because I couldn't figure out a way to film much of it. So there's that. But then after the morning, we'll have another live stream, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.